Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Maharaj Divine Graces, Bhaktivedanta Swami Shiva Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Gaura Premanandi. there's one amongst many very nice Prabhupada stories. There's a nice Prabhupada story. This is from Shrutakirti. Shrutakirti describes that there was a scholarly fellow becoming a devotee, and he had come to make some request of Srila Prabhupada, some philosophical topic, and he came and he offered his obeisances, and then he sat down, and then this isn't the exact sequence of events, but there was some distraction, and he had to go attend to some distraction, and he came back and paid obeisances, and then a third time he went away. Third time he just, tilted his shoulders and palms folded. After he left, there was some discussion. He indicated to Shrutakirti, his fall down has begun. The platform that Srila Prabhupada was on wasn't like he's a stickler for procedure and rules, but he understood things that most people don't understand, and he understood the man's mind. And that while the formality was there, and then the formality wasn't there, such persons require formality, because manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Without offering obeisances, the essential, just like our discussion yesterday, the essential principles are missing. So, what's the verse? I see a bookmark. Say it again? 49 and 50. Okay. 10. 15. Oh, nice. Chapter 15. So 2 verses. There's nice purports too. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Angri Masakam Apurnas. This text, wait a minute. Is this the right verse? Text 49, okay. Angri Mastakam Apurnas. Tulasi Navadamapi Komalai Sarvagatreshu Buri Punya Vad Arpitai Angri Mastakam Apurnas Tulasi Navadamapi Komalai Sarvagatreshu Buri Punyavad Arpatai. Someone? Angri Nastakam Apurnas Tulasi Navadamapi Komalai Sarvagatreshu Buri Punyavad Arpatai. Angri Mastakam Apurnas Tulasi Navadamapi Kamalai Sarvagatreshu Puripunyavad Arpatai Tulasi Navadamapi Kamalai Sarvagatreshu Puripunyavad Arpatai Angri Mastakam Apurnas Tulasi Navadamabihi Sarvagatreshu Puri Punyavad Arpata. Ladies. Angri Mastakam Apurnas Tulasi Navadamabihi Komalai Sarvagatreshu Puri Punyavad Arpatai Angri Mastakam Apurnas Tulasi Navadamabihi Komalai Sarvagatreshu Puri Punyavad Arpatai Angri Mastakam from the feet up to the top of the head. Apurna fully decorated. Tulasi Navadamabihi with garlands of fresh tulsi leaves. Komalai tender, soft. Sarva Gatreshu on all the limbs of the body. Buri Punyavat Arpatai, which were offered by devotees engaged in greatest pious activity. Worshipping the Supreme Lord by hearing chanting and so on. Translation, every part of their bodies, from their feet up to the top of their heads, was fully decorated with fresh, tender garlands of tulsi leaves offered by devotees engaged in worshipping the Lord by the greatest pious activities, namely hearing and chanting. Purport. The word Buri Punyavad Arpatai is significant in this verse. The forms of Vishnu were worshipped by those who had performed pious activities, Sukritibihi, for many births, and who were constantly engaged in devotional service. Sarva Kirtanam Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. Bhakti, devotional service, is the engagement of those who have performed highly developed pious activities. The accumulation of pious activities has already been mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10:12-11. Shukadeva Goswami says, Itam satam brahma sukhana brutya dasyam katanam paradaivatena maya shratanam naradarakena sakam virajru kruta punya punja. Those who are engaged in self-realization, appreciating the effulgence of the Lord, and those engaged in devotional service accepting the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Master, as well as those who are under the clutches of Maya, thinking the Lord an ordinary person, cannot understand that certain exalted personalities, after accumulating volumes of pious activities, are now playing with the Lord in friendship as cowherd boys. paragraph. In our Krishna Balaram temple in Vrindavan, there is a tamal tree that covers an entire corner of the courtyard. Before there was a temple, the tree was lying neglected, but now it has developed very luxuriantly, covering the whole corner of the courtyard. This is a sign of Bhuri Punya. Very nice example, huh? I remember the skinny, scrawny tree when the temple was inaugurated. Now it's different. Fortunate living entity getting darshan of the deity. If you got to take birth as a tree, that's a good place to be. Okay, so now we're moving on to text 50. Chandrika Vishada Smerai. Text 50. Are we covering 49 and 50? Yes. So text 50. Chandrika Vishada Smerai Sarupa Rupanga Vikshitai Swakatanam Iva Raja Satvabhyam Shrastri Palaka Chandrika Vishada Smerai Sarupnang Panga Vikshitai Swakartanam Iva Rajan Satvabhyam Srastra Palaka Chandrika Vishada Smerai Saruna Panga Vikshitai Swakartanam Iva Raja Satvabhyam Shrestha Palaka. Sarupanga Vikshitai Sakartanam Iva Raja Satvabhyam Shastrapalaka Chandrika Vishada Smerai Sarupanga Vikshitai Sakartanam Iva Raja Satvabhyam Shastrapalaka. Ladies. Chandrika Vishada Smerai Sarupananga Vikshitai Swakatanam Iva Raja Satvabhyam Shastrapalaka. Chandrika Vishada Smerai Sarunapanga Vikshitai Sakartanam Iva Raja Satvabhyam Shastrapalaka. Chandrika Vishada Smerai. By pure smiling, like the full increasing moonlight. Sa Aruna Apanga Vikshitai by the clear glances of their reddish eyes.
By the clear glance of their reddish eyes.
Swaka arthanam, of the desires of his own devotees. Iva, just as Raja Sattvabhyam, by the modes of passion and goodness. Sastripalaka, were creators and protectors. Translation. Those Vishnu forms blessed the devotees with their clear glances and smiles, which resembled the increasingly full light of the moon. Shreya Chandrika, Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. As maintainers, they glanced upon their devotees, embracing them and protecting them by smiling. Their smiles resembled the mode of goodness, protecting all the desires of the devotees. And the glancing of their eyes resembled the mode of passion. Actually, in this verse, the word raja means not passion, but affection. In the material, rajo guna is passion, but in the spiritual world, it is affection. In the material world, affection is contaminated by rajo guna and tamo guna, but in the Shuddha Sattva, the affection that maintains the devotees is transcendental. Interesting. Paragraph. The word swakartanam refers to great desires. As mentioned in this verse, the glance of Lord Vishnu creates the desires of the devotees. A pure devotee, however, has no desires. Therefore, Sanatana Goswami comments that because the desires of the devotees whose attention is fixed on Krishna has already been fulfilled. The Lord's sidelong glances create variegated desires in relation to Krishna and devotional service. In the material world, desire is a product of Rajo Guna and Tamo Guna, but desire in the spiritual world gives rise to a variety of everlasting transcendental service. Thus, the word swakatanam refers to eagerness to serve Krishna. And the final paragraph. In Vrindavan, there is a place where there was no temple, but a devotee desired, he's the devotee, Prabhupada. Let there be a temple and seva, devotional service. Therefore, what was once an empty corner has now become a place of pilgrimage. Such are the desires of a devotee. Prabhupada rarely, in his purports, would comment like this one. Once there was, and it's, where does the desire for a pure devotee arise from? Because desire less means no material desire, but where did their spiritual desire arise from? One can say a number of things, but the desire to be in a relationship with Krishna, and then the desire to serve Krishna in a particular way. For a pure devotee, that's the sequence. And for those that aren't pure devotees, there's a mix. There's some of this and some of that. This chapter is the Brahma Vimohan Lila, and the bewilderment of Brahma is being detailed by displaying what Krishna is displaying. Brahma is bewildered. Anyone would be bewildered. But he's so intelligent. He created a universe that's like, sounds like you create something. A pair of roller skates. Somebody figured out how to make roller skates. So he has been able to create everything. So he's superlatively intelligent. And he knows how to create everything, but he doesn't know how to create what he's seeing. And he's overwhelmed. Stepping back, the curiosity item for Brahma was, what's the extent of the opulences of this person that just killed Aghasura? What's the limit? So to get the answer to that curiosity question, he pitted his power against Krishna's power. So Krishna would surpass and show whatever he showed. And he fainted, seeing what Krishna showed. But as step by step, as it's unfolding, the picture is very clear and also very poetic. How these so many forms of Vishnu or Narayana or forms of the Lord that were manifest, decorations and opulences, fresh garlands of tulsi leaves. It's not offered by devotees, so it's not solo. There's a whole entourage surrounding each one of these forms of the Lord. And those entourage of devotees, they're rendering services, and he's seeing and, to some degree understanding all of what's going on. Then, how did they, Krita Punya Punja, how did they attain that qualification to be in that intimate service to the personality of Godhead? So it's not the same Sanskrit that comes later in his prayers is hinted at earlier here. Buri Punyavad Arpitai. Here's how Prabhupada translate this. Here it is. The word Buri Punyavad Arpita is significant. These forms of Vishnu were worshipped by those who had performed pious activities for many births and who were constantly engaged in devotional service. Does that mean that we can expect that many, 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 who knows how many lifetimes of devotional service before eligibility comes to be a participant in pastimes such as this? One could infer, yes, but the most valuable thing may have the biggest price. On the other hand, what these particular servants of Krishna or Lord Vishnu are doing, if Krishna so desires, and that's the eager anticipation of our sadhakas, us, Krishna's kind, and we may not have been engaged in his direct devotional service like them, so many, 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 who knows how many, unlimited number of lifetimes, it can happen quickly. That he'd be engaged in direct service like these devotees are doing, and seeing the form of the Lord and decorating the form of the Lord and offering garlands for him and so forth. Just before coming here, I was in Houston, and every morning during class time, there are maybe 15 devotees, mostly ladies, who are engaged in making garlands because there's many deities. They're very large deities, so their flower budget must be really big, because it's not just a nice little simple garland. It comes from their marigold patch in their backyard. They have opulent flowers. Now, compliments of Tamal Krishna are setting such a standard, and it's been maintained. And they have the financial resource to do it. And so, 20 plus, 25 devotees every morning. They have tables and this and that, and they have their own system. And the garlands are very opulent, large, because the deities are very large, and opulent. So, who knows how many lifetimes of doing some service like that prior to getting the opportunity to make similar garlands to offer to Lord Vishnu or Lord Narayana. These manifestations. And it's not, one should understand that kind of service is eternal. The pastime is not eternal. The pastime is eternal, but it's not eternally manifest before our eyes. That is to say, the eternality of Krishna's pastimes is they're non-stop, meaning when Krishna is performing a pastime, this particular pastime with Lord Brahma, and the pastime closes, simultaneously in another universe or another place, the pastime is commencing. And in the cycle, it keeps moving. So all the pastimes of Krishna are always eternally going on. It's mind-boggling, but that's the description. So that, in other words, in some universe, somewhere, Krishna is appearing. And then after he appears, another universe, and then another universe, another universe. Just think of how big a universe is, and that Krishna moves very swiftly. In fact, for the constraints of time and space for him are zero. So it's quite beyond our scope of imagining, but at least by hearing we should have an understanding. The pastimes of Krishna are without limit, and they're going on eternally somewhere. Just a little sharing. It's not exactly on topic, but it just came across this during this past weekend seminar. Srila Prabhupada is in one letter is answering a question to one of his female disciples, Saradiya, 1968, December 12, 1968. So it's very early in the Hare Krishna movement. Prabhupada was explaining that the associates of Krishna that perform activities in this world with him, like Arjuna and Kunti, both names are named, they're eternal associates in his Bhoma Lila, and they're not manifest in Goloka. And then he went on to describe the one spirit soul, Arjuna, it's the same one spirit soul, whether manifest in this place, that place, and of the pastimes, the form, the qualities, etc., they'll vary, but it's one entity, same one entity in this material world. That means to say, like for the Pandavas, this is not exactly on this topic, but it's very interesting. The Pandavas, according to Mahabharata, where'd the Pandavas go? Or according to Srimad Bhagavatam, where did the Pandavas go? They're eternal associates. So they went to Krishna. Mahabharata speaks of them as attaining heaven. So leaving that difference aside, eternal associates where? And is there such a thing? The answer is yes. Is there such a thing as eternal associates of Krishna in the material world? And that's exactly what Prabhupada was writing. Somebody remind me, could you send me a little note? Can you send me, do you have my WhatsApp number? You don't? Okay. You do. Send me a little note as a reminder, then you can forward to everybody. The passage, Prabhupada writing this to Saradiya in 1968. It's just fascinating. Because here, this is a pastime in this world. And Lord Brahma is visioning forms of the Lord and servants of the Lord and the garlands of tulsi and fragrant flowers and their activities and their eternal activities. Somewhere in the material creation, these pastimes are eternally going on. And they're not of the spiritual realm. They're not of Goloka Vrindavan or Vaikuntha. Text 50 again. Those Vishnu forms by their pure smiling, which resembled the increasing light of the moon, and by the sign-lawed glances of their reddish eyes, created and protected the desires of their own devotees. A very similar understanding, almost identical understanding, is presented in Chaitanya Charitamrita by Krishnadas Kaviraj. And that is, the Supreme Lord maintains. And how does he maintain? There's different ways one can describe he maintains, but just by his glancing, he's maintaining. Or by this particular, in Lord Chaitanya, Vishwambar, he maintains the universe by increasing the flood of love of God. And that maintains the living entities. Because, living entities, they have, let's say, they have to eat. That something maintains their lives. You don't eat, you don't live. in the course of time, the body will perish and wither away. So, by his ikshata, by his glancing, he's bringing happiness and maintaining all those who are observing him in their service, and of course of Lord Brahma. By the sidelong glances of their reddish eyes, this is the forms of Narayana, created and protected the desires of their own devotees, as if by the modes of passion and ignorance. So that clearly, the Bhagavatam is describing a transcendental event, and it's being compared to that which isn't a transcendental event. The modes of ignorance and passion are not spiritual. The glance of the Supreme Lord is not passion or ignorance. But it's being compared because of that glancing acts to maintain and support. I'll read again from the purport. Those Vishnu forms bless the devotees with their clear glances and smiles, which resembled the increasingly full light of the moon. As maintainers, they glanced upon their devotees, embracing them and protecting them by smiling. So the angani yasya sakalendriya vritti manti. But any one of the senses, the Lord can perform all activities of all these senses. So what's he doing? He's smiling and glancing. And in this way, the spiritual principle is manifest. Let's go back. And the back beginning of this exhibition of Brahma Vimohan Leela was a result of an inquisitiveness of Lord Brahma. Having seen the killing of Aghasura, he wanted to know. He was curious. What's the limit? Is there a limit of the unlimited? What's the limit? So he stole the calves and cowherd boys, and he's now getting the experience of unlimitedness. So he, by his eyes and by his smile, is maintaining. Now Brahma is the creator, but he also understands about this principle of maintenance. And he sees it, and he understands it, because he's very intelligent, or it's being revealed to him. And Krishna's with unblinking eyes, he's just smiling. In the whole of this, and then at the end of his prayers, Krishna is still standing there with a lump of yogurt in his left hand and just looking at Brahma. Quite, it would be a nice movie or portrayal of the pastime. How do you portray such a pastime? It takes a good imagination to be able to portray through drama such a presentation as what's being described. The potency is unlimited. How do you portray, how do you actually demonstrate to an audience by Krishna's smile and Krishna's glancing, living entities are being maintained? How do you portray that? In words, okay, but in drama, because a very important part of Vedic culture is the performance of drama. Because through the performance of drama, same as through the written word, that is the stimulation of ecstatic love. On higher levels, that's what these pastimes are doing. Besides, for us, it's maybe like piecing together the storyline. So we can try to hold that storyline in our mind. But the transcendental is not just piecing together a storyline, it's stimulation of love. And this is a very nice section where exactly that is what's going on. Both in Krishna's presence and us hearing what Brahma did and all the sequence of events. Bhagavatam is such a nice literature. You can't. Our acharyas say, so it's not just my opinion, but you can't compare Srimad Bhagavatam. There's a nice expression Bhaktisiddhanta made about Bhagavatam. He said it in a very interesting way. Even if all the books of the world were burned, no problem. If if this and if that, provided Srimad Bhagavatam remained. And if all those other books were destroyed, no loss at all. Now he's a literary person and immaculate understander of all kinds of subject matters. But his appreciation was the merit of this Srimad Bhagavatam, that the merit is it's transcendental literature. So it's not, besides that the story is fascinating, like maybe some people will say, oh, come on, you really believe in this stuff? So there may be faithless persons, but those that have faith, what happens is, potentially at least, as the heart becomes cleansed, same as what's being described, just by Krishna's glancing, the whole of the spiritual world is sent into a tizzy of ecstasy. He's just glancing and smiling. Very powerful. It's relationship-oriented, but it's also Shakti-oriented. His smiling stimulates, his glancing stimulates. We can't do. A pure devotee has power because of being empowered, and the pure devotee can do. But what to speak of Krishna himself, the fullness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, glancing and smiling. Shoo. Sustaining the universe. Powerful. Now, how do we process all that? It's simple. He's the Supreme, and through being the Supreme, he can do anything he likes, however he likes. And if this is one of the things he likes, then no problem. And it's going to happen because he likes. Even when there's interruption of Brahma coming because Krishna had another plan. Let's see if there's some discussion. I see the time is now 8:33. We're supposed to end at 8:30, is that right? 8:15. Okay. Any comments, questions? Yes? Here's a microphone right there. Okay, he wants the portable one. Very efficient. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj. That this all the Gopa and calf became like a 400 Vishnu form. Only seen by Brahma, or that is here Prabhupada mentioned about that devotees after seeing that and they were pleased. That means which devotees they saw their forms.
Okay. Because I spent get ready. There are 3 sets of counterboys. One, according to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, when Krishna sensed that Brahma had this, I want to test my potency against Krishna's potency, and the idea of kidnapping the cowherd boys and calves came to his mind, Krishna made a switcheroo. Krishna manifested Maya, 2 things, Maya forms of cowherd boys. Those were put in the cave. And the original cowherd boys were taken away by his Yogamaya potency. He didn't say where they were taken to. Something like what, the fire god did with Sita. Where did he take Sita? Who knows? But somewhere where Ravana couldn't see. And a Maya Sita. So that's similar. This is not the Ramayana commentary, it's Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. And then there's the third. The third is, this is pertaining to your question, Krishna manifested himself in likenesses exactly like each calf and each cowherd boy. So the calves and the cowherd boys that are present, each with 4 hands, etc., according to what Brahma saw, that's Krishna. And then Krishna for 1 year was associated with the cows and the elder members of his cowherd boy friends' parents, because they desired Krishna as their son. So he reciprocated with their desire. Now, so back to your question. The reference to the living entities, the whole scene entirely is Krishna's internal potency manifesting forms. The whole scene, because it's just they're sitting by the side of the river Jamuna, and there's nothing else going on. But so he manifested the whole shebang. So it's Krishna.
Brahma and all demigods, they already prayed to Krishna. When he is Bhagastuti, that time. And later on is testing because of Krishna also. And I heard from Bhadra Prabhu yesterday, there is 2 Krishna same time to birth in the Brahma.
There are 2, say it slowly.
Krishna is just in the eclipse at the same time. One is from the Vasudeva and another is over here, from over here.
Okay.
400 like Vishnu form from the Deva to whom of Mother Devaki.
Okay.
And then another is from the rain.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 twins Krishna come.
Okay.
Original Krishna from the
No problem. No problem.
And another 400 from the mentioned in the world.
Okay. So that's what Krishna manifesting as 2 forms. Now back to your question. Who are these cowherd boys? Who are these persons that are offering service and garlands and things? It's Krishna. Manifestations of Krishna in various ways, because for the same reason. Everyone else is gone. It's Krishna. Now he doesn't recognize that, Lord Brahma. He's just seeing what looks like these are the same cowherd boys that he put in the cave.
My question is that Brahmaji never saw the Krishna or just he believed?
No, he saw, he's seeing Krishna. But Krishna is the source who he saw, and Krishna is manifesting X, Y, Z. And then this, and then that, and then he withdraws everything. Then it's just Krishna, standing with a lump of yogurt in his hand, smiling. So, he sees Krishna, because Krishna gives him the divine eyes to see. Okay?
Krishna Maharaj. My question is, what is the Suddha Sattva?
What's the what?
Suddha Sattva.
What is Shuddha Sattva? That's what you're wanting to know? What is it? It's a potency of Krishna that's uncontaminated by the lower modes of nature. That's what it is. That's a potency of Krishna. So, there's Maya that has 3 modes, and then there's Shuddha Sattva. It's an energy, a potency of Krishna that's uncontaminated by material influence. You could say Swarup Shakti, his own potency. Swarup Shakti. And it's the means, through that Swarup Shakti, that Krishna permits others to see him as he is. And how he does what he does. And all those who are doing things with him in that pure realm, that's Shuddha Sattva, is a potency of Krishna. And enabling him to enjoy and enabling his devotees to experience him fully, as much as a tiny living entity can experience. Answer your question? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Maharaj ki